joined the webinar today. And it's an overwhelming feeling what ELTAI is doing for all of us, belonging to the fraternity of English literature and language teaching. I can see very many people who have joined from outside India as well. Special welcome to them from India. English Language Teachers Association of India is glad to host you this platform. Since all of you, we are brought together under the banner of ELTAI, I'm sure that all of you have taken membership or planning to take membership of ELTAI very soon. Believe you me that we are actually working for the betterment of our fraternity of English teachers. We provide handholding to teachers from schools, from colleges, to research scholars as well. And everything is done by the ELTAI management, the team of ELTAI. So let us join hands and create a beautiful and better world, not only for ourselves, but for the students who are studying English as a language. So you can put up your questions on the chat box, and let me provide you with certain important points to ensure everything runs smoothly at this platform. So you are requested to post your questions in the chat box during the webinar. We encourage you to stay with us for the entire session because we are as a family and we cannot quit midway. So please stay with us for the entire session. The certificates will be issued within 10 working days. Please avoid sending follow-up emails immediately after the webinar to prevent delays. Of course, we all understand that sending unnecessary emails create e-junk, and we don't want that because the team behind the webinars, they are working actively, and within 10 working days, you will be provided with your certificates. Also, a feedback form will be shared at the end. Please fill it out to receive your certificates. Certificates are available for school, undergraduate, postgraduate students, ELTAI members, and even for foreign nationals. PhD scholars are specifically encouraged to join ELTAI, English Language Teachers Association of India. Check your inbox and spam folders for the certificate email. Keep a copy of the confirmation email after submitting the feedback form for verification. These two are very important things that don't get changed up, that the certificate has not reached you till now. Check your inbox, spam folders, and keep a copy of the confirmation email after submitting the feedback form for verification. We invite the non-members who are present at this platform who are yet to join ELTAI. We humbly request you to join ELTAI for access to resources, professional development, and a strong peer network. I I can read in the chat box that someone has posted that the audio quality is poor. I hope it has improved. If you can show a thumbs up. Thank you, Nilofer ma'am. Any questions you have, you can uh, post it in the chat box, please. Oh, such an enthusiastic forum we have today. Also, please let us know in the chat box where you are joining us from, because it will help us to reach out to you and also improve and increase our peer group. Please do let us know from which place are you joining us. I can read Hyderabad. Great. Muscat. Oh, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Kerala. Bhubaneswar. So you can see, and this is a testimony to the fact that ELTAI has a pan-India reach and even overseas reach. This is a testimony in itself. Cuttack, Orissa, Chennai. Oh, great, great. Gujarat, Kolkata. So north, south, east, west. Pune. I can see Pune. Oh, great, great. Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. So Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from east Assam to Maharashtra, west. Great, great. Also, since we are creating a strong fraternity, I request you all to kindly post your areas of interest, the areas on where you are researching, the areas which you want us to explore further. Yes, I can read stylistics. Great, great. These questions and these responses, quick responses from you, it is going to help us facilitate our webinar better, wider, more emphatic, more efficient for you people. ELT, AI, great, great. Our organizers are noting down all these things, all these things. And believe you me that we are definitely going to cater to the research fields in which you want us to conduct more webinar. Functional English, cultural studies, integration of AI in ELT. Great. Eco ELT, that's something great, something great. So you have provided us with a plethora of topics we can perhaps take up in our uh, webinars, which are going to be scheduled in the later times. Everything is for us. ELTAI is steadfast and it is working relentlessly for the betterment of us, the English teachers. English as a second language. Yes, yes. The organizers are taking note of it. Okay, there is a question. How can English be well taught at primary school? Uh, Especially in India. Yes, that is a question we all are uh, trying to answer so that we actually develop a proficiency and perfection in imparting the skill of English language acquisition when we are learning English as a second language. Definitely, especially in rural areas. I understand your concern. The researchers, the management of ELTAI, we will soon call for an expert in this field to cater to this particular requirement. Thank you for posing such wonderful questions. Thank you. So it's sharp 4:30, and as promised, we will begin with our session just now. So once again, a warm namaste, dear friends. I'm delighted to have you all join us for ELTAI webinar 137. I repeat, 137, brought to you by the English Language Teachers Association of India. This is Professor Shibani Basu Dubey, and I will be your host for this exciting session today. As mentioned earlier, I reiterate certain important points that please post your question in the chat box. Certificates will be issued within 10 working days. A feedback form will be shared at the end. Keep checking your inbox and spam folders for the certificate email. Keep a copy of the confirmation email after submitting the feedback form for verification. And the most important, we invite non-members to join ELTAI for access to resources, professional development, and as I keep mentioning, a strong peer network. So let us begin. The topic which we are going to take up today is diversity, equity, and inclusion in English language teaching in India, challenges and innovations. It is the one that resonates deeply with educators and language learners alike. And the question I was just now reading out from the chat box, that in rural areas, that is where we have to include everyone into English language teaching. Before we dive into today's engaging topic, let us take a moment to get acquainted with the vibrant world of ELTAI. For those of you who are new to our community or simply need a refresher, we have a brief video to showcase some of the incredible activities and initiatives ELTAI is involved in. May I request the tech team to kindly play the video? The technical team. Is there any glitch out there in playing the video? That's something great. This was just a compilation of all the activities which ELTAI does for us. It is a proof of ELTAI's commitment to empowering English language educators across India, and it is truly, truly commendable. Also, this was just a video. Again, when you join ELTAI, when you work with ELTAI, you will find that ELTAI is in fact an emotion in itself. With that, we begin with the actual session today. To oversee this discussion, we have a moderator. Let me take this opportunity once again, a thumbs up, please, if I am audible. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, to oversee this discussion today, we have a moderator. And let me take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed moderator for today's webinar. Dr. Prashant Mothe is a dynamic figure in the field of education, renowned for his multifaceted expertise in literature and language studies. A person who is associated with ELT, linguistics, pragmatics, Indian writing in English, past 18 years. He is presently working as a professor at the Department of English, Adarsh Mahavidyalay, Maharashtra. He has delivered talks as the keynote speaker in various international webinars. He is also a research guide at Dr. Baba Sahab Ambedkar Marathwada University, Maharashtra, and 7 research scholars have already successfully completed their research under his guidance. He is the content developer for the syllabus of degree program at Ahmedabad, Gujarat, one of the universities there. He is a member of BOS in various reputed autonomous colleges. He has co-edited 7 books. He has textbooks prescribed for various universities to his credit. He has published 33 articles, 27 chapters, and he is also the editor-in-chief of a journal entitled Langlet. It is an international peer-reviewed open access journal, and he is an editor and advisory board of more than 11 national and international refereed journals. With his expertise, he is the most appropriate person to take up the further section further. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Prashant Mothe, and I request you to take the session further. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Shabani Basu, ma'am. My dear friend, Dr. Rahul Kale, sir, Dr. Kavin, sir, all the participants across the globe. Thank you for joining us today for this very important discussion on diversity, e- equality, and inclusion in English language teaching in India, challenges and innovations. In a country as culturally and linguistically rich as India, teaching English can never be a one size fits all approach. Whether it's a rural classroom in Maharashtra, a metro schools in Delhi, or a tribal learning centers in Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand, each learner brings a unique identity, language, and learning need. As we know, India's ELT landscape is deeply shaped by its linguistic, cultural, and socio-economical diversity. Yet, despite this richness, many learners still face barriers, be it due to language mismatch, disability, or geographical location, or lack of access. So, to throw light on such a global issues, it is absolute honor to welcome Dr. Kalyani Wallach ma'am as a resource person She is a distinguished scholar, educator, and visionary in the field of English language teaching. Actually, when I take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Kalyani Vallat ma'am. She is a well-known figure. Uh, she is a multifaceted educational pioneer and a distinguished figure in the domain of English literature with a diverse portfolio that encompasses roles as an educational entrepreneur, editor, and teacher. Actually, when we see Dr. Kalyani ma'am, impactful journey is characterized by innovations and dedication. Her commitment to bridging educational gaps extends to her notable achievements in compiling various books or volumes entitled like a contemporary encyclopedia of British literature in 3 volumes. And we can say that contemporary encyclopedia of literature of the Americans in 2 volumes published by Bodhi, 3 books tailored specifically for Indian students. Notably, she founded eProf, a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting interdisciplinary studies and professionals related to English language and literature. She has also shared her enterprising, insightful at various international conferences, and she is also editor of a literary journal, a renowned literary journal. And Dr. Kalyani Vallat ma'am is actually a pioneer in educational innovation whose innovative methods, commitment to education, accessibility, and dedication to social causes have left us an incredible impact on across Kerala and beyond region. Her voice actually is one that bridges the classroom with the community, policy with pedagogy, and tradition with transformation. So actually, when we see the theme of this webinar is very important that ever because of English education in India intersects with complex issues of language, identity, and access. Learners from rural area, marginalized community, and those with disabilities continue to face significant barriers. So, in this context, the implementation of equitable and culturally responsible teaching practices supported by innovations in policy, pedagogy, and technology is essential to ensure that English language learning is a tool of empowerment for all, not a privilege for a few of the scholars who lives in a metropolitan cities. So we are very privileged to have Dr. Kalyani Vallat ma'am here today, shedding light on how English education can become a more inclusive, empowering force for all learners, regardless of their background, ability, and identity. So it's my absolute honor to invite Dr. Kalyani Vallat ma'am to share her views on diversity, equity, and inclusion in English language teaching in India and its challenges and innovations. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Professor Prashant Mothe. Thanks to all the participants, all the organizers of ELTAI, and to all the participants for having me here. As Professor Mothe was saying, it is a very pertinent topic that we have today to discuss. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, as it is now known world over, in English language teaching. The ELTAI team had agreed to share my presentation. Can we have it? Yes, we can go to the second slide. Right. So I start with asking you a question. Who is in our classroom? We are teaching at various levels. Some of us are teaching in school level, some of us in university level. Wherever we are teaching, we have students who are not homogeneous, but highly heterogeneous in terms of learning styles, in terms of backgrounds, in terms of cultural cultural experiences, and even sexualities these days. So our education system, it is high time, took into account this diversity that we encounter in our classrooms and stop looking at our students as if they are one homogeneous whole. This is why we have this discussion on DEI today. In today's increasingly interconnected and globalized world, the field of English language teaching is also, like every other discipline, experiencing a transformative shift. So if we move on to the next slide, please. We have to embrace DEI because it matters a lot. As English continues to function as a global lingua franca across diverse cultural and linguistic contexts, educators like us are facing the task and the responsibility of fostering classrooms that reflect and celebrate, not only tolerate, but also celebrate students' diverse achievements and talents, their diverse ethnicities, their abilities, their learning styles, not only abilities, but also disabilities, their genders, their sexual orientations, and everything. With the increasing mobility of students and, no, I will tell you when to move the slide. Thank you. With the increasing mobility of students and educators, as well as the mobility of knowledge and technology in the 21st century, ELT classrooms have become microcosms of global diversity. It is very heartwarming to see that this conference that I am part of is also a very global conference. We have participants from outside India as well. So this is becoming a reality with the NEP 2020, because foreign universities are going to come to India very soon, and our classrooms are going to be even more multicultural. So this highlights the need for us educators and teachers to develop culturally responsive teaching practices. We have to accept the cultural diversity of our students, and we have to be sensitive to their divergent needs. We have to challenge dominant narratives and promote equitable access to education, because it is not equality, but equity that matters. Whether educational system caters to my situation, to my talents, to my needs, that is what every student will be thinking about, and we have to get ready for it. Thank you. For the next, can we have the next slide, please? Here we are going to talk about the terms diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are essential principles in any education that promote a culturally responsive, inclusive, and socially just. You know, we need to bring social justice into the classroom, into our learning environments. As classrooms become diverse increasingly, ELT practitioners like us must prioritize DEI in order to foster a sense of belonging. Students should feel happy coming to our classrooms. They should feel happy being with us because we cater to their diverse needs. We promote academic achievement and prepare them for this interconnected and diverse world. Students will no longer fear exams. They should no longer be scared of speaking English. They should no longer be scared of making mistakes. Let us envisage a world like that. Diversity in ELT classrooms encompasses differences. As we know, diverse means different. Everybody is accepted along with their differences. What differences? Differences in language, in ethnicity, in culture, in religion. All these have been there all along from the time of independence in India, but now it is increasing. We have socio-economic statuses, genders, abilities, and lots more. Recognizing and valuing these differences, not only accepting and recognizing, but also valuing and celebrating these differences is crucial for developing cultural competence. Only then our students will also develop into sensitive teachers and professionals. This involves understanding, appreciating, interacting effectively with diverse cultures. This should start with the teachers, of course, and trainers. If we do not know different cultures, if we do not appreciate different cultures, how can we have a diverse classroom? Culturally competent ELT practitioners can facilitate richer classroom interactions. They can promote cross-cultural understanding and also enhance language learning outcomes. So that is about diversity. Now, what is equity? I have written on the slide, removing systemic barriers. We have a system of education that is okay for some people. They are able to fare well in that system. But for many people, it is not so. Equity in ELT focuses on addressing these inequalities and dealing with it. Equity is about education, giving equal access to educational resources, opportunities, and support. This involves promoting social justice by recognizing and challenging power imbalances. Some students coming from richer families, some students coming from privileged backgrounds. As a teacher catering to students preparing for national eligibility test, I really experience this. National eligibility test is a test that students can easily pass if they have a very supportive environment, if they have gone to big colleges and universities, if they have parents and grandparents who are educated and they had an educational growth culture as they grew up, then it is easy. But majority of people in India do not come from such backgrounds. There are so many imbalances and biases and discriminatory practices that people, like many scholars and theorists, have already talked about all this for a long time. For example, the famous scholar Kumara Vadivelu has talked about the importance of doing away with discriminatory practices in the education system. Kumara Vadivelu is like a godfather for all ELT practitioners. So by prioritizing equity, ELT practitioners can create a more inclusive and just learning environment where students will not be scared of learning and exams anymore. I come from Kerala, which is supposed to be a very highly literate state, but almost all the people in Kerala, majority of people in Kerala are scared of speaking English because they are worried about what people will think. Will I make a mistake? Is my pronunciation right? Is my grammar right? So this is because we don't have equity in our system. Inclusion ensures that all students, regardless of their background or abilities, feel welcomed. They are respected. They are fully engaged in the learning process. How learning actually creates the student and how the society creates learning, such a constructivist approach, starting from Vygotsky, would be beneficial in this regard. We should be aware that the background, the situations from the students come from, that is all actually impacting on their learning. Inclusive pedagogy involves creating learning environments that are responsive to diverse student needs, promoting active participation, fostering a sense of belonging. Inclusive pedagogies in ELT have a transformative impact. We all desire to be involved in transformative education. That's a very powerful term, but it is not possible unless we bring inclusion actively into the classroom. The spread of global English has created new opportunities for communication, as we all know, and education has become not just one way, it has become more and more collaborative. David Crystal has talked about it. I practice it in my classrooms. A lot of my previous students work with me. You know that just doing a course may not enable students to become employable, to become competent for this career world outside, career-oriented world outside. So my students also, when they come to me for courses, they get like 80% equipped, but they are still not 100% equipped. Many of them choose to work with me. I give them internship programs and also employment programs so that they can help me grow, they can help me produce materials, and they can learn by doing, and they become 100% employable. So this idea of collaboration is a wonderful idea that has a lot to do with DEI. It also raises concerns about linguistic imperialism. This global English, or this world of globalization, also raises concerns about linguistic imperialism. How many students would say that we can speak a lot and reasonably well in our mother tongue, but it is because it is English that we cannot speak. So there is a linguistic imperialism that is casting its dark shadow on our educational system. It also raises concerns about cultural homogenization. Will everybody going to a convent school become like one culturally homogeneous? Will a private school education destroy our diversity? Such issues are also there. And prioritizing DEI therefore enables us to promote a more just and inclusive system. Now, if we move on to the next slide, I will talk about the theoretical foundations needed for DEI to be brought into practice. There are many approaches in DEI right now. There are world over thousands of theories maybe talking about it in different contexts. I have taken some very basic ideas and theories that are also very familiar to literature practitioners, literature teachers. Because I'm primarily a literature teacher of literature, I have taken such ideas. DEI frameworks in education are a relatively recent development, as we all know, emerging from the early 20th century civil rights movement, from the social justice activism of the 1960s and 70s. In that period, DEI was already there in a rudimentary form in the US and UK and perhaps Europe also, but it did not come to India until recently. So theoretical frameworks in DEI scholarship, I would say, can be broadly categorized into three: identity-centered, relating to social identities, then power-conscious, relating to power and how power works on individuals, and also organization-focused. This in business studies and MBA departments, it'll be good to talk about DEI from an organization focus. So identity-centered approaches such as social identity theory. There is social identity theory, which underscore the complex and dynamic nature of social communities that lead to our identities. Related is intersectionality of Kimberly Crenshaw. If you are interested, I can share with you a bibliography at the end. These frameworks emphasize that students' identities, including their race, including their social and ethnic identities, their gender and sexual orientation, linguistic backgrounds, all these intersect and interact to shape their experiences of language learning. Language is not just an isolated thing, it is integrally connected to all the aspects of identity of a student. Recognizing and valuing students' diverse social identities is crucial for fostering an inclusive learning environment. The next important approach that we should remember is power-conscious approach, which includes critical race theory, which is also a very major theory in culture studies. Critical race theory is also related to intersectionality. And there is also critical pedagogy of Paulo Freire. Paulo Freire is a very major Latin American theorist. These offer a crucial framework for analyzing how systemic inequalities, there are inequalities in the system itself, in the educational system itself. Such systemic inequalities and power imbalances can perpetuate social injustice in English language teaching. There is liberationist pedagogy that is important in this regard. Bell Hooks has talked about it. Engaged pedagogy, how students' background and culture should engage with the classroom. So CRT highlights how racism is embedded in institutional policies. For example, I always feel that the mainstream English language teaching methods and also the systemic requirements like passing UGC net, etc., are always privileging certain upper class urban, metropolitan people and the suburban, rural, socially disadvantaged people, despite the reservation and all, are still lagging behind, because you can see the nature of the questions they ask in UGC NET, for example. A student who does not have proper grasp over English language many times will not be able to understand a very advanced level grasp over English language, will not be able to understand or pass the simple or challenging questions they ask in UGC NET, for example. So we have to take into account systemic inequalities in order to challenge the problems that we face in our educational system. A critical examination of the social, cultural, political context. In other words, how can you put students coming from privileged backgrounds on the same plane as students coming from underprivileged backgrounds? In my NET classes, I have students who are laborers, who are coming from slums, because we have a lot of different ways in which we solve the financial problems that students have, like installment scheme and scholarships and all that. A lot of people from the lowest strata of the society take admission. We also have students from high-ranking students from the best universities. So technology or multimodal learning is one solution that I have experienced and tried out. I not only teach them, I give them the same lecture and the same information in many other ways. I give them audio files, I give them video files, I give them games, I give them quizzes. So this is extremely useful for people coming from different backgrounds and different learning styles, because everybody will not find the same time to attend live classes. Everybody will not have very good mobile phones. Everybody will not have the same grasp over language or technology. So multimodal education is one sure shot way to solve systemic inequalities. I'm talking about the second point here, power conscious approaches that we need to DEI. And today's DEI scholarship continues to evolve because of all this. Organization focused is where there are changes needed in the institution itself. This is very pertinent in the case of education or ELT in offices. There are, for example, in technological institutes like Infosys, for example, there are training programs happening and theoretical approaches have been developed that are applicable there also. Now, if we move to the challenges in traditional ELT, yes. Traditional approaches to English language teaching have been criticized for their inability to cater to the diverse needs of learners. I will take the questions later. I see that there are some questions coming, but I will read them later. Standardized curricula and materials frequently reflect a narrow Eurocentric view of ELT, where we follow just textbook method or the teacher teaching in the classroom method. For a country like India, we need to move beyond the four walls of the classroom, because there are so many people who will not be able to attend classes regularly. They will not be able to understand what is happening in the classroom within the four walls itself. They need other approaches also. So we need to move beyond standardized curricula. For instance, a study conducted in South Africa that I came across revealed that ELT materials often perpetuated a Western-centric worldview, neglecting the cultural and linguistic diversity of the local context. Such approaches are relevant in India also. How far do we bring our students' backgrounds into the classroom? Do we really ask them to talk about how their lifestyle is, how their family structure is, how their challenges within the society are? We don't really take all that into consideration very much. This lack of representation of the student's background can lead to feelings of alienation among learners. We still consider it important to follow a Cambridge-based curriculum or an Oxford-based curriculum. We'll just take those textbooks and we will just like garnishing or some salt and spice like that. We'll just sprinkle some references to India there and then believe that this is going to take effect. But let us throw away those textbooks for once and let us just talk to our students about how they are living, what they experience in their life, what they think about the media and the books and the entertainment that they are encountering. Maybe that will bring in DEI better and faster into the Indian classrooms. Equitable accesses to resources is also a big problem. Qualified teachers are not there in many rural and suburban schools and colleges. Up-to-date materials and technology are not there. All these are actually widening the disparities and the gaps in learning outcomes. Students from marginalized communities are disproportionately affected as they may face systemic barriers that hinder their educational progress. I'm quoting from Gay. For example, rural students in India have limited access to digital resources, hindering their ability to develop English language skills. Inclusion also remains a challenge, and some classrooms fail to accommodate varied abilities and needs of learners. So whenever I conduct a class, I can give you an example from my own classes. We have a system, of course, which may not be foolproof, which may not be suitable for all students, but we make it a policy that the moment one student raises a concern, I am unable to watch these videos properly because my internet connectivity is bad, because my device is bad. Can you also give me a PDF? Can you help me in some other way? Immediately we listen to the students. Even listening to the students takes us a long way in improving our classroom situations. What are the challenges that you're facing? Why are you not remembering this information? What is the challenge that you're facing in getting ready for the exam? Why are you not able to do your homework? You know, like that, if we ask the students and listen to them, that itself will open up many doors and students will be able to perform better. One major obstacle to the implementation of DEI in India in English language teaching is the resistance to change. That is the last point that I've given here. We don't want to change. That is the worst problem also. We don't want to change. We want to continue doing age-old practices. Many times we are unwilling to adapt new perspectives and practices. How many of us use quiz apps or presentation apps? How many of us have tried to use Kahoot, for example, or bring in pictures and visual media into the classroom? You know, we know that this is to be done, but many times we don't do it because we are conservative and we don't want to incorporate new challenges. We don't want to incorporate new methods because it might mean more time spent on developing, etc. Lack of awareness and understanding of diverse experiences and challenges can also perpetuate exclusionary practices. For me, for example, many times I don't know that such a tool is there. I don't know that I could do this better so that it is accessible to more people. So I have to actively take measures to update my knowledge, to deal with my lack of awareness, right? I'm so happy that many of you were asking for lessons or seminars on how to use AI, etc. Because AI is developing exponentially and it is going to be a very big challenge for aging teachers, because our students might always know better than us. They might always fare better. So in order to keep up with the pace, we have to really take some effort. And also, in our Indian classrooms, we mostly overlook the experiences of students from marginalized communities. For example, the underprivileged slum dwellers or the poor students who are the economically disadvantaged students, or in higher classrooms, the LGBTQ students, people from broken families, students from diverse racial and ethnic groups. Sometimes that also happens. So cultural biases and stereotypes should not be propagated because they might lead to discriminatory attitudes and actions like the dominance of native speakerism in ELT. You should speak like a native speaker. You should have a, the moment we appreciate a student who speaks with a British accent or an American accent, who's trying to put on an accent, we are actually repressing the learning capacity of all the other students. It is not necessary that we speak with a native speaker's accent. Native speakerism need not be encouraged in our ELT classrooms because it might marginalize non-native English speaking students. They might feel inferior, they might feel disabled in the ELT classroom. The absence of data and metrics also can make it very difficult for us. We don't have ways of measuring the progress of our students. I'll come to metrics later. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes, I don't want to just go on and on and on talking. So can you just take a minute and in the chat tell me what are the challenges that are strongest in your classrooms, in your context? Can you just quickly tell me what are the biggest challenges when it comes to DEI that you face in your classrooms? Just 1 minute. Level of understanding of students. We are teaching them in an undergraduate class, but they don't even have the level of a high school student. Like that sometimes happens. To make students shed their fear and speak very much, yes, it is very challenging because the fear of speaking comes not from within the class, it comes from the society. Students from vernacular background, yes. Students from English medium are sitting with the vernacular medium sometimes. Attention span, yes. Instead of just lecturing or doing one whole session, like I am doing now, lecture for some time and then get them to interact and do something, then we will again teach, then they will do like that. If you do, maybe it can be overcome. Interference of local language, yes. The first thing I would say is let us not be afraid of mother tongue interference. If there is mother tongue interference, let us not try to correct it immediately. Let it be there as students are gaining proficiency in English, more fluency in English, and slowly maybe it will go away, because mother tongue interference is like it can also be like a mark of tradition, isn't it? The moment we think that it is negative, maybe it will help us in the classroom. How to pay attention to each student. Again, fragmenting the lesson, fragmenting the classroom situation might be very good. Dividing them into groups and giving peer review over outside the classroom in WhatsApp group or some other social media format. Also, we can continue catering to the students. All those are wonderful ways of doing it. Yes. Right. Lack of values. I don't know if we can expect Gen Z to have our same values. Sometimes it is not that they have lack of values. We should make them understand that it is not that you have lack of values, but your values are changing. And let us have a discussion about it in the classroom, perhaps, so that it makes more sense to the students and they will be able to understand. Lack of motivation, yes, that is very, very challenging because they have too much of everything now, too many choices. I would always say integrating entrepreneurship into the English language or English literature classrooms is one way of making them motivated, one way of giving them something to do. Why don't we think of developing some activities or products in the ELT classroom that can be sold? Because that will be exciting. That you should gamify it. That will be exciting and it will also bring results. I don't know if it's possible, but I do it. Maybe you can do it as well. Right. I have just looked at all these. I will again look at it. Thank you very much. Now, can we have the next slide? I will move on with my presentation and then we'll have a real meaningful discussion. The role of educators, therefore, is very crucial, as we all know. By adopting culturally responsive teaching practices, we can produce an inclusive classroom. We should incorporate students' backgrounds and needs, make them produce, make them learn by doing, incorporate also diverse texts and materials. My husband Sudeep, Dr. Sudeep and me, we did our PhD in Canada. There, Sudeep attended a course at the University of British Columbia where we studied, and there was a lesson, or there was a course on post-structuralism and the Canadian context or something. That is not the main thing I'm telling you. The main thing I'm telling you is what the educator did is to give an overview of the course, and he asked the students to bring textbooks or texts that are suitable for them to study post-structuralism. The students brought magazines and various artifacts and things to learn. Instead of the teacher, forcing some textbook on them, texts were brought by the students into the classroom. Isn't that exciting? Wow. Even though for the exam that may not be possible, we can at least try it as a teaching technique. When we teach a theory or when we teach a concept, we can bring some text that will illustrate that concept or theory. It is a wonderful, amazing way in which, yes, we can transform our classroom. Even if we do one time, for us teachers, you will think, I only did it one day, nothing happens because of one day, but we are wrong. That one day when we do it might change our students forever. It might have a lasting impact on them. So how can we bring diverse texts and materials that reflect students' cultural backgrounds and experiences? For an ELT teacher, we can ask them to bring samples of speaking from various people. Ask your grandfather to speak, ask your neighbor to speak, ask your friends to speak, ask your relatives, cousins to speak. And then we can use the samples, for example, in the classroom that they brought to improve pronunciation, to get fluency, etc. I'm sure that will also make them motivated. Give them all one sentence or one paragraph and try doing this, for example. That is another way in which we can, I just randomly thought of it, in which we can get the students to engage with ELT. So literature from diverse authors, maybe film songs, folk songs, other authentic materials from students' local cultures. Ask them to sing a song that is very common in their culture and try translating that song, and then examine the difference and compare it with some other song that is already English. Things like that. You don't have to do it every day. I know that we don't have time for all these gimmicks in the classroom, but I'm saying for each and every student, at least one of these experiences we should give, at least one in an entire course, and that will make a big difference. Educators can also use inclusive language and terminology. Instead of saying he, the universal pronoun, we can start saying she, for example, or he or she, avoiding making assumptions about students' backgrounds or identities, respectfully looking at their backgrounds, not presuming, for example, that everybody has a father and a mother. Maybe their parents are divorced, maybe their parents are no more. So all that is inclusive in different ways. Educators can also employ differentiated learning strategies across the diverse needs of students. For example, make some of the slow learners do something that will win the appreciation of everybody. Focus on them and make them do something brilliant that they can, depending on their capabilities, and that will inspire everyone. So just giving a thought to do that. For example, in my class, I'm teaching for NET at Trivandrum and Ernakulam in my offline class. There is a Muslim girl from Bihar. Lots of people from all over India are here in Ernakulam and Trivandrum offline classes. This Bihar girl is extremely shy and she is very quiet. When she speaks, we can't hear what she is saying. She is, everybody thought that nobody really paid attention to her. Her name is Maimuna, and she is very quiet in the class. One day, I wanted to do a game with the students, and I thought, what shall I do? And I devised a game, and I said, Maimuna, come here. Let us play this game with our students, and let's give them a surprise. You are in charge of it. You have to do this, and you have to do that. I put her in charge, and she changed completely. She just needed some little touch, some opportunity. She changed completely. Now she is speaking out loudly and she's cracking jokes in the class. And the other day, yesterday only, I took all of them out for a movie. Not all, some of them out for a movie. And Maimuna came up to me and said, ma'am, can I borrow your kajal? I was like, wow. And she said, I want to put some kajal when I come with you. It is the second time in my life I'm wearing kajal. I said, okay, take my kajal. And then she said, can I have some lipstick? I said, of course. And she said, I want to look pretty. I think this speaks volumes, because when she came, she was feeling inferior or shy or, quiet. There is another Maimuna in her. I discovered we were all like, wow, our eyes popped out. She came with us wearing kajal and lipstick and came for the movie. And thinking about it, I'm in tears. So we never know. We have to take that extra effort to reach out to those slow students, quiet students, because they may not be quiet or slow. We have to bring them out. We have to take that effort. As educators, we should also encourage critical thinking and reflection. For example, I'm teaching a text, I'm teaching a poem, and then I can ask my students, tell me 5 different reasons for your not. I just told them that this is a great text. I can also tell them, tell me 5 different reasons for you are not liking this text. It is not necessary that you like this text. In what way would people critique this text? Why would people not like this text, for example? Such a question might open many doors again. So encourage them to question, encourage them to think critically, encourage them to move beyond expected ideas, encourage them to speak about social justice, about power, how it works on them, encourage them to move a little bit beyond the curriculum. For example, this is our syllabus, and we are achieving this with our syllabus. Dear students, tell me why one of these texts could have been replaced with another text. Do you think there is some other text that we could have included instead? I will give you 3 days. You go, read up, find out, and come. I don't want everybody to bring one text. If the entire class comes up with one text that we can replace this text with, that is wonderful. And you know what I do? I ask questions like this, and when students come with answers, I give immediately, I will say, you are getting a cash award. I might give them only 10 rupees or 20 rupees, but that makes a big difference. And it is not the money. The students themselves say it's not the money, but the fact that I am ready to do it. And they say, no, ma'am, I don't want money. I said, you just took away 20 rupees from your fees because you're so smart. I should give you 20 rupees discount. Like that, I play with them. So it means a lot to them. They will laugh and they might go and have a coffee or something with it, but it means a lot to them. So there are so many unconventional ways, creative ways in which we can do all these things. Equity-forced teaching in ELT requires a commitment, my dear friends. It requires a commitment. We should be committed to understanding our students. We should be committed to addressing their needs, each and every person's needs. We will always find the excuse that I don't have time. I have to finish portions. I have to get them ready for exams. But one creative idea will take only a few seconds, only a few minutes. Every one of us has time for that. And we can do like that every single day, if you ask me. It is just a bahana. It is just an excuse that we make when we say we don't have time. We are the teachers. If we do not know how to manage time and do one creative thing for our students, then who else will do it? So recognizing that learners are bringing diverse backgrounds, we should be ready to learn from our students. Okay, we have to study this topic. I will teach you what I know. After I teach you, please tell us what you know so that I can learn from you. Even saying that will be an amazing thing in the classroom. Whether your students teach you or not is another thing, but your saying it will move mountains, I'm telling you. Educators like us, like this, can employ various strategies, providing scaffolding techniques for learners. Do not just force them to do things that they cannot do. Many of them are coming from very low backgrounds. We should understand it, and it is not their fault. Many of them do not have the support that we want them to have. It is not their fault. So do scaffolding. For example, I will do activities like this with students. I will say a question, a very tough question, and I will give two options. The first option will be the correct option, and the second option will be a stupid option. It will be obviously wrong. So the students will say the correct option, and they won't feel inferior. They won't feel beaten. They won't feel like, I can't do this. This question is so traumatic. How will I ever learn? Let us not give them that feeling. Instead of that, help them to say the correct answer. And I always teach something, and I will ask them true or false questions. I will say sentences that I already told
Apologies
them,
for
and
the
I will say, is
interruption,
it
ma'am.
false? And they will say, yeah, it is true. And they get a feeling of achievement. They feel triumphant. They feel happy and confident. And that will make our
Hello?
work less.
Ma'am.
It will not actually mean wasting time. It actually means saving time, because our students
Hello?
will learn
Ma'am.
faster. Right?
Apologies
So
for the interruption.
adopt teaching methods that will empower our students, not just not just highlight their differences and inabilities. Don't just scare them. Don't just make them feel pressurized, but do scaffolding and help them to understand easily. Adapt teaching methods to suit different learning styles, and offer
Hello?
additional
Am I
support,
audible, ma'am?
one-on-one or remedial teaching, etc. sometimes. Okay, next
Yes,
slide,
Shashank
please.
sir, you are
I got a
audible.
little carried away and
Yes,
took
sir.
too much time.
Apologies
I
for
hope
the
I have a little
interruption,
more
ma'am.
time.
I kindly request
Inclusive
you to
strategies.
begin
Um,
wrapping up the talk.
Thank you, everyone, for your appreciation. I am learning from you, and every time I make a good presentation, it is because of the audience. It is because the audience is responding. I can see many of my students here as professors. I am so happy and privileged. Supriya, Raven said, I am seeing your names. I'm so blessed to be here in this session. So inclusive strategies. Inclusion is about creating an environment. Listen to this. We should create an environment in our classroom where every learner can thrive. Nobody should feel out of place. Everybody should feel included. Prashant Mote said, how much time do I have more? Or have I already exceeded my time?
Yes, ma'am. We have already exceeded the time. Like,
Okay. I will wind up now. Give me
please
2-3
wind up the
minutes.
talk.
2-3 minutes.
Okay.
Inclusion, yeah. Inclusion is about differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction means involving custom-made teaching methods to meet the diverse learners of students. Students, I came to teach you like this, but I am not doing that today because I think another method will suit you better. So giving them tiered tasks, not just one task, but divide it into smaller ways. Use multimodal learning. Okay, you did not understand now? No problem. I will give you the audio in the WhatsApp group. I will give you a mind map. I will give you a table so that you will understand better. So multimodal learning. Collaborative learning is where you let students learn from each other. I have a lot of teaching assistants who are students, my former students. Learning from them makes it less stressful for my current students. and also intercultural exchange. Talk about the cultural backgrounds of the students in the class as examples. Universal design for learning, or UDL, that is also a very important prospect. Multiple means of engagement. You can look it up if you are interested in it. Understand a concept and teach a concept in multiple ways, and address microaggressions and biases. That means it is an idea developed by Sue, Derald Wing Sue. It involves providing comprehensive training on unconscious bias. You're training them to overcome unconscious biases and microaggressions in the society. That is actually in the context of organizations. So all these are wonderful ways. Next slide, please. Global and Indian implications. I don't have to talk more about it. DIE prepares our learners for global citizenship. They will be able to go abroad and work in international companies, challenges native speaker dominance, and empowers marginalized communities. That is ultimately what we aim at in our education. Next slide, please. And measuring DEI has some metrics. I'm not an expert in that, but I just want to introduce this idea. Representation metrics are there, inclusion metrics are there, equity metrics are there. We should learn about them. We should incorporate them into our classrooms so that our classrooms become more DEI. Next, please. And if you want an action plan, this is the last. You can reflect on your own practices. What are you doing? What am I doing in my classroom? You can plan, and also you can collaborate to bring this into effect. So that is all. I will end with a quotation from Paulo Freire. Next slide, please. Education either functions as an instrument or it becomes the practice of freedom. I want all of us, including me, let us all be free as teachers, and let us free our students from all their shackles. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. What a truly enriching and eye-opening session we have just experienced. On behalf of ELTAI and all participants, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Kalyani Vallath ma'am for delivering such an inspiring and thought-provoking talk. Actually, she began her session with a powerful and reflective question: who is in our classroom? Immediately setting the tone for a deep exploration of diversity, equity, and inclusion in English language teaching. She skillfully highlighted why DEI matters in ELT. She reminded us that English education should not uh, privilege a few, but empower all. So, with clarity, she went on to distinguish between key terms like diversity, equity, and inclusion. Further, she introduced a multi-layered approach, beginning with identity-centered perspective, where she drew on social identity theory. Then she throws light on power conscious approach grounded in critical race theory. She also addressed, uh, I think, the organization focused approach, emphasizing on the need for institutional change to build policies, curriculum, and social culture. She also critically examined the challenges within traditional English language teaching practices. She further talks on how standardized approaches often fail to account for the diverse realities of Indian classroom, leading to a rigid instruction that overlooks individual learners' need. Then inequitable access. She talks about She addressed the widespread resistance to change within the educational institutions, noting that without a willingness to rethink outdated methods, progress towards equitable and inclusive English teaching will remain limited. She has asked very important questions to all the participants. Uh, which challenge is the strongest in participants' point of view? She emphasized the vital role of educators in adopting culturally responsive teaching, using inclusive language and materials, differentiating instruction, and fostering critical and reflective classroom discussion. Towards the end of her talk, she has clearly emphasized on inclusive strategies, measuring DEI impactful and action plan for teachers. Actually, ma'am, your words reminded us that true education begins when every voice is heard, every learner's is seen, and every background is respected. So, this session has not just informed us, it has empowered us to rethink how we teach, how we learn, and why inclusion matters a lot in our classroom. So, all in all, now this platform is open for Q&A session. We now open the floor to questions from the audience. This is your chance to share your thoughts, post questions in the chat box. Uh, I will read out a few and direct them to Dr. Wallat ma'am.
Prashant sir, we have some questions in the chat box in WhatsApp group as well.
Okay.
Should I read?
Yes, please. Ma'am.
Found some.
Yes, please.
Rahul sir himself has asked, Madam, do you feel that ELT should be separated from English literature in UGC NET exam and conducted separately as a different specialization or subject? It will be great if it is separated because, ELT is a discipline in its own stead. I think it should be separated. Linguistics and literature are different, like that. English literature and ELT should be separated. One of my colleagues has a student who identifies as a transgender non-binary. Their pronoun is they, them. Recently, Shashi Tharoor remarked singular they, them is wrong, English, though it has been in use for centuries. Transphobes like J.K. Rowling, Musk and Trump too have supporters in India. DEI is viewed negatively by them. In Indian classrooms, almost no teacher or professor accepts it through, though AP or MLA has accepted it in the recent editions. How do you think we should deal with this? I think history takes time to change. You and I, if we accept it, I accept it. We are the harbingers of change. Through us, change will come. Suddenly, one day, everybody will not change. It has always been like that. I cannot blame them, even though they are wrong, because people sometimes take time. It is sad. Let us continue educating people about DEI, about the need to go beyond all these phobias. I'm sure we will live to see a better world. Those are the two questions that I saw. I'm sorry, I was thinking that I am getting 45 minutes to 1 hour. That's but I think the whole session was 45 minutes to 1 hour. Can we allow our students to speak with some common errors? I would only say yes. I would say a vehement yes. They should be aware that this is because we also make mistakes. The teachers also are not speaking perfect English. Many words that we pronounce, etc., are wrong if you look at it that way. So we should constantly try to improve our understanding of what is right, but we should not be afraid of mistakes. Is it because it's too late that nobody is asking?
Even I can't see any question here. Okay, we have got one question here.
How can English, that one? How can English be well taught at primary school stage, a second language acquisition in rural areas, especially in India? One thing about swimming is that you have to get into the water. Without getting into the water, you can't swim. Without driving a car, you can't drive. The only way to learn a language is to get exposed to it. We have to speak it, we have to hear it, we have to read it, we have to write it. In primary school, without forcing them to speak English, let us have a lot of English in the classroom. Let us give them a lot of songs and things to take home, so that they're at home also. Let us bring in the parents and ask them to play these songs and stories for them. The teacher can record stories if nothing else is available. So, or there can be some ways in which in the afternoons and evenings, after class also, students can hear stories and speak and all that. Find out more and more ways of exposing the learner to the language. That is the only way, whether you are in primary school or adult, that is the only way you can learn that language. Otherwise, we'll always be second, third level speakers. The best way to learn a language, we all know, is to go and fall into that country, to live in that country where they speak that language. Without any classes, we will all learn to speak, whether we are small children or adults. So, Supriya, because how to work for the underprivileged college-going students when it comes to English language teaching. Same thing. Take our classes beyond the classroom. Give them lots of stories, lectures, YouTube videos, fun discussions, movie clips, whatever you can, that they can watch later. You have to use technology, otherwise we can't. I'm sure everybody has smartphones, at least access to smartphones in India. So let us immerse them. That is called immersive learning. Let us immerse them in the subject or the language, and it should solve the problem.
There is one question from Hetal Doshi. Is NEP's emphasis on regional language teaching a welcome steps, or is it undermining the importance of English?
Good question, Hetal. It all depends on how you deal with it. For example, if I am a teacher in a college, because NEP gives importance to regional language teaching, I will not sideline English. I will give equal emphasis to English, because I know English is also equally important. But giving importance to regional language can be empowering for many students in many ways. That is also true. So the problem with NEP, the only problem with NEP is how you execute it. Theoretically, it is good. But are we empowered to execute it? How we execute it? There we should focus. So in a larger sense, I don't know what will happen, but in our personal circles, we should give importance equally to regional language and English, so that students will only be empowered and not deprived. That's what I think.
Do you find any question, ma'am?
Yeah. Prakash, Please share, tell more on bringing relevant text to the lessons by students in the classrooms. It depends on the level of the student or the class that you're teaching. In higher classes and college, of course, you can ask them to bring text, go research, find out, bring a story, bring a poem, bring conversations. You can say that. In the smaller classes, it may not be easy, but that is why I said in the smaller classes, you can ask them to get their relatives or somebody to write for them. If they are allowed to use phones, you can ask them to record or ask their parents to send to the teacher. There are solutions. There are ways in which you can do it. You can form a group where parents will send in their reading, and students will feel so proud that their father or mother is reading and everybody is listening to it like that. Depending on the level of the student, we can do these things. Yes, execution is the problem. How can teachers make English learning fair and inclusive for students from different backgrounds in India? And what new ideas are working well? I was trying to say some of these ideas. Use a lot of technology so that it will be suitable for students of all levels and all learning capabilities and disabilities also.
Okay, we can take the last question only.
Yes. Native speakerism means giving too much importance to native speakers' accent and way of using the language.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you to everyone for your actually thoughtful questions and active participation. A big thank to Dr. Kalyani Vallat ma'am for sharing such a rich, insightful address. This discussion reminded us that equitable English education is not just about language, it's about justice, identity, and empowerment. Let's continue to question, innovate, and work collaboratively to make English classroom more inclusive for every learners in India. Uh, Rahul, if you have any further procedure, kindly go ahead.
Okay, okay. I'll take it up from now.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
well,
Yes, please.
what a session, Kalyani ma'am. What a session indeed. Thought-provoking, engaging to the core. And on behalf of ELTAI, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Kalyani Vallat, for her time and insights. Uh, I also would like to thank our moderator for the session, Dr. Prashant Mote, for summarizing the session and handling the question answer round. Well, behind the scenes, there's a dedicated team that works tirelessly to ensure the success of ELTAI webinars. You can understand from the entire paraphernalia required to conduct any webinar, and we must thank the people behind the camera. I thank the seniors and mentors for their valuable and timely input. A special thanks to our technical team comprising of Kavin, Kingston, and Banu, the backbones of our organizing team, for their hard work and commitment to organizing these webinars. And last, but certainly not the least, a heartfelt thanks to all our participants from abroad and, of course, from all corners of India. Your active participation, questions that you had put forth, and the insights make these webinars not just informative, but in fact, platform for rich discussions and global collaboration. You must have seen the feedback link in the chat box. Do not forget to fill out the feedback form. Certificates will be issued only to school, UG, and PG students, LTI members, and foreign nationals. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a few announcements to make before I wrap up. Mark your calendar and save the date for our next insightful LTI webinar. On Sunday, September 28, 2025, we have a captivating session planned for you on the topic of research and publication in English studies, navigating trends in language, literature, and linguistics. Dr. Swati Mulinti from Hyderabad is going to deliver this talk. Can we have the poster of the next webinar on screen, please?
It is already
Yes.
there, ma'am.
Yes, it is right there. Registration details and additional information about this exciting webinar are available in the chat box and also on our website. Yes, another very important announcement. The 19th International and 55th Annual Conference of the English Language Teachers Association of India, themed on lessons taught, lessons learned, teacher and learner natives, is going to be organized from 12th to 15th November 2025, hosted by Christ University, Bangalore. This conference, as always, will gather educators, researchers, and practitioners to share experiences and insights in English language teaching. So stay tuned for more updates. You can keep visiting our website that is there right on screen. The abstract submission deadline, as you can see it on the screen, is 10th September of 2025. I actually urge you to have an experience of ELTAI conferences. They create a lifetime experiences for all the participants. Remember, your active participation is not only encouraged, but essential to the success of our events. Let us continue our journey of professional development together. Now, it's time for a group photograph, as mentioned in the chat box by one of the participants. I request everyone to turn their videos on and the organizing team to click a quick picture of us. May we have everyone on screen, please? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And one last word for a very dear friend of mine, Rahul Arkale. He is the mastermind behind this, curating these webinars and bringing it to us. Without thanking him, I could not have ended this event. And with this, I, Professor Shibani, take your leave. Jai Hind and stay blessed.